Hey guys, we're vinegar makers and we're going to do a Chinese versus Japanese black vinegar taste test. So the three vinegars we have today, we have two vinegars that we got from our recent trip to Japan. And so all three of these black vinegars are going to be 3-year-old aged vinegars. So we have kind of that commonality. And so we have two brands. We have one called Sakamoto, which is a famous black vinegar maker in Japan. And then we have another one that's a famous black vinegar maker as well called Kakita. I believe that's the name. And they're both within about a mile or two in the same area.
3 years.
And then that's the Chinese. So then we ordered on Amazon an aged black vinegar from China that's 3 years old. So that was going to be our taste test. So we got Japan versus China.
Oh, interesting. This one says it has wheat bran in it. So they must
Well, it's a slightly different Chinese black vinegar. It's got water, glutinous rice, wheat bran, sugar, salt, versus the Japanese vinegar is mostly just brown rice, in addition to the koji and the water, of course. So let's try the Japanese first. Wow. So this is the Kakita. And this little bottle we got it at the airplane or the airport in Kagoshima. And wow. The moment
takes me back.
Yeah, the moment you open this, it smells just like the fields in Kagoshima. Or in Kirishima, excuse me.
We're gonna sample this?
It's like caramelized onions in a pot of balsamic reducing. It's unbelievable. So you can see the color is brown.
Not quite black, because the 3 years is more of like an amber dark brown or like light brown, whereas the 5 years like actually the black vinegar. Mellow on the front end, very tart on the back end.
It's delicious. We got a little honey diluted in some water to cleanse the palate. Yeah, it's got a light umami. Tastes like a light rice vinegar with kind of an added umami to it. So yeah, the umami kind of comes from the front and then it finishes kind of tart and acidic, more like a rice vinegar that you might be used to.
You can almost like taste the flavor more that way, because instead of that sour punch on the front end.
So now here's Sakamoto's 3-year-old aged.
I'm excited about this one.
Wow. Wow. That even has a richer, it's almost like cherry, like
I was about to say, plums.
dark fruit, stone fruit
Dried
notes.
plum. A prune. There you go.
It still has that faint, like caramelized onion flavor, but it's got even more rich, kind of cherry notes. It's just interesting though. It looks almost identical in terms of the actual
you can probably
color.
see it better out of this one.
Interesting. The fragrance on this is unbelievably richer, but this actually has, from the get-go, a little bit more of that umami note.
Let me taste that one again.
They both kind of finish as a tart kind of rice vinegar.
I got more complexity out of this.
Did you see?
One. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's try it one more time.
Yeah, I need to compare again. Yeah, I think I got more flavor complexity on the front end on this one.
A little bit more, but they're actually quite comparable.
They are.
And I meant to say, so these vinegars are roughly about 4.5% acidity, which it seemed like when we visited Japan, even a rice vinegar factory that we went to that was over 300 years old, they all seemed to settle on about a 4.5% acidity. That seemed to be like the general rule of thumb of the vinegar acidity that they like. Versus what's interesting is in China, or at least this vinegar, this is a 6% acidity. So that's kind of like a differentiator in between the two countries. And so yeah, let's
Here, let
Open
me
this
get the
one up.
sticker up.
And what's fun too is, so from what we've researched and understood, the black vinegar actually comes originally from the Chinese black vinegar culture. So Chinese merchants kind of introduced the black vinegar to Japan well over 1,000 years ago. But from what we've read, black vinegar in China is at least 3,000 years old.
Wow, much darker too.
Yeah, you can see it extremely dark. And yeah, this is exciting. And so this is from, it says, check that out. That doesn't sound like that's a Chinese black vinegar producer.
It says something about Queens, New York as the distributor.
That's the distributor, but like it doesn't necessarily say the actual vinegar maker.
Does it have a brand? Black Soyos?
I don't know. And for reference, I think these, when you buy them in the actual shops, they run you like maybe $10 to $15 this bottle. This was a little cheaper since it was an airplane bottle. And this was roughly like 15 or 20 bucks too, I think, on Amazon.
Yeah, maybe like $17.
Okay. This is actually really exciting. This is actually really fun. We should do this more. So we actually, just as a heads up, we actually purchased more varieties of black vinegar in Japan that if you guys like it, we can continue to do some
it
sampling.
was outrageous how many vinegars he got home in his backpack. I was concerned.
Wow, smell that. Interesting. What is that? It reminds me of something that's actually
Bacon?
tied to Japan.
Bacon? I don't know.
To me, it kind of smells like baked sweet potato.
Baked, yeah.
Which is funny because the region that's famous for black vinegar in Japan is also famous for sweet potato, for shoju. So, interesting.
I smell bacon.
Slightly burnt sweet potato. That's roasted sweet potato. Oh, wow. So, yeah, like the color is just like what you see in the bottle. Very dark. Looks like a soy sauce or a...
That's so interesting. Wow. I wonder if the wheat bran in it contributes to any of the color differentiation at 3 years.
Wow. Oh, wow. Totally different. It really is a totally different product. And I'm picking up the burnt sweet potato at the end. When I first tried it, remarkably different taste. And then I tasted the sweet potato.
Those aren't even in the same ballpark at all. Those are two totally different flavor profiles. The neutrality of like the rice vinegar still shows up like on the back note. That's like what I taste in the acidity, but like
it's crazy for it being 6% acidity. It tastes almost less acidic.
Yeah.
Now, to me, it tastes really pure. I wonder if there's any kind of like additives or like if there's a molasses type kind of thing added to it, because
tastes that burnt note. The
for 3 years old, it tastes so different than this. And we saw these up close, and so we know the purity of that. And because we bought it online, we didn't actually get it from the brewery, and doesn't even necessarily say the brewery. I don't know, but it's delicious.
I taste chocolate now. Or maybe it's a trick in my
head. Oh yeah, no,
the brown.
Tootsie Roll.
Okay.
I taste Tootsie Roll. I taste like extremely caramelized sweet potato. This is actually really like
complex. And
yeah, it makes us want to maybe go to China and check out that's the next vinegar tastings. I want to see China, especially because this is the predecessor to the Japanese black vinegar. It's just China. It's unbelievable the rich history it has of culinary fermentation, just culinary food in general. And yeah, I mean, it says, so it says a small amount of sediment is a natural product of brewing vinegar and does not affect consumption. We made sure to try to find a pure product. At the same time, I mean, the ingredients, it says water, glutinous rice, wheat bran, sugar, and salt. And so that does seem a little odd that there'd be sugar and salt, considering the black vinegar of Japan, they're not adding salt or sugar. Their sacrification from the koji is occurring from the rice. So I don't know, maybe they're actually adding like a caramel kind of note with the sugar and salt addition. So it's kind of not trickery, but
That could be how they're getting to 6% because they're able to obtain higher sugar content for higher alcohol up front because they're not just brewing from the rice. Maybe they're adding sugar.
maybe so. Well, or I don't think they would. Anyone who's
TBD.
really familiar with Chinese black vinegar in the comments, if you guys can clarify like what you think, if this is actually a vinegar that's added the sugar and salt post fermentation or what, if you guys could clue us in, because this is delicious, but yeah, it's difficult to say because
I don't taste salt or sugar though. Like it doesn't taste sweet. So if they had added sugar on the back end, it's very, very undetectable.
I don't know. I taste the salt, and I taste this burnt sweet potato, but in like the best
burnt caramelization.
in the Tootsie Roll, but in the best way. Like this is absolutely delicious. Like it almost tastes like a sauce, like Liam Perrin's, like
yeah.
You mean
almost like a steak sauce? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's really good, like undeniably delicious. All three of these are really amazing, and
you guys stay tuned too because we're going to keep doing these tastings, and next up on the menu is fish sauce comparison from the different Asian countries that produce it. So if you enjoyed this video,
do that.
go like and subscribe. Cheers.